and other people call him Fish Face. He was part of the original posse, I think. But I met several of these men at the same time when I was roommates with Danny Stein. And I remember Danny kept introducing me to his friends, and they were all from North Carolina. And this is when we were living in California. And I thought, have you met anyone from California? Stay friends with people from North Carolina. But then as I started to hang out with them, I realized, I was like, this is so special how you have all stayed together as such close friends. And I remember, you know, when I had a boyfriend when I lived with Danny, and we broke up, and he's like, don't you worry, sweet pea. I've got you covered. And then, you know, Fisher and I started dating. But I remember, and we had a baby, and then we got married. That's not my family tradition. That's a Wilson family tradition. But I remember thinking, like, I loved Danny like a brother, and I loved Spray like a brother. And I was so hoping that my sister would marry, you know, one of them, just so we could always be together as a family. But I realized that all these guys are like brothers, you know, so we'll always have each other in our lives, and it's so fun to get together and celebrate these happy moments. But I do remember the first time I met Spray, and I thought, because I met everyone except for Danny, just by their last names. But I thought Spray was just a nickname, and I was like, why do they keep calling him Spray? Like, does he just spit? No, his last name is Sprayberry. I was like, okay. And even when we had our first, we were the first to have a daughter, and we still lived in California, and so she grew up knowing him as Spray, and then she started calling him Spray Daddy. And when we relocated, everyone started to relocate back to the East Coast. Yay! And I forget, I think it was, I can't remember, but it might have been like a Cassidy event. But a lot of us were together, and someone's kids were saying, there's Brian. And Brian was chasing people around, and my daughter's just like, his name is not Brian. And the other, I will share one other thing that I love about Spray is we would alternate weekends. Like Danny and I lived in Orange County. Spray was in San Diego. One of the Cassidys at the time was in LA. The other Cassidy was up in San Francisco. But we would alternate weekends, and then if we weren't having sleepovers at Danny and I's house, and we were in San Diego or we were in LA, and I just knew Spray as the outgoing smack the dance floor Spray. And they said, no, this was more of a recent thing. He was much more shy and quiet growing up, but still had this amazing, you know, group of friends. And I was invited to go to Figgy's bachelorette party, and I didn't think anything of it. But once I was there, you know, Figgy introduced me. She's like, and Kristen's representing the Spray side. I was like, oh my gosh! But then I realized, I was like, oh, I've known Spray as long as I've known my husband, pretty much. And even though, you know, we've done so many things together, but we've all grown, and when we all kind of came back to Charlotte, Spray was still always a big part of our lives. And when we had our second daughter, we asked Spray to be the godfather to Kingsley. So they know all of them. You're all part of our family. But Spray, when he was here, you know, started mingling with some other females, and I was like, no, I just don't see this. I don't see this happening. And then once he met Figgy, and they were dating for a while, But the first time I actually got to meet Figgy, they flew to Nashville to watch the solar eclipse. And I was like, oh yes, and I was so excited. And then every time he would call Fisher and ask us to be on speakerphone, I was like, oh my God, he proposed to her. And I was like, no, we're just calling to say Happy New Year. So when they went down to Danny and Amini's, I think it was their second wedding.
Fourth.
And they called, and everyone was on speakerphone. That's when I was like, I started, like, I could feel like I was crying, and I was just so happy that you two found each other and that you're meant to be together. I'm just excited to see all the adventures and travel that you get to do because you've already done so much. So that is all. I can feel my cheeks.